Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope your 24-hour challenge went well, and I hope that you've come up with lots of examples of a time when maybe you were brave or courageous. Now today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to read you a story, so this video might be a little bit longer than normal, and in this story there's someone who's brave. So maybe as you're listening, have a think about who the brave person is. I'm going to start now. It's called The Emperor's New Clothes, and this version has been adapted from the original tale that was written by someone called Hans Christian Andersen. So there you go, maybe you can find out something about him. A long time ago there was an emperor who loved new clothes. He spent his whole life searching for new things to wear. He didn't do any of the things which emperors are supposed to do. He never visited his army, never made a speech, never opened a new school or hospital. No, the only time his people saw him was when he walked through the city showing off his new clothes. People would see him and whisper, "Look at his wonderful hat," or "Oh, those silk trousers, what beautiful colours." One day, two strangers arrived in the city. One was a very tall, thin man with a long pointed nose. The other was small and round, with not a single hair on his head. The strange pair drove their cart straight to the emperor's palace and asked to see the emperor. "Impossible," said the palace gatekeeper. "A box of new shoes has just arrived from China, and His Majesty will be spending the whole day trying them on. He'll have no time to see people." "Fine," said the tall stranger. "Tell your emperor that he's just missed the chance to buy the most wonderful, magical clothes the world has ever seen. Goodbye." "Oh, wait," said the gatekeeper. "Magical, you say? Perhaps His Majesty might spare a moment for you. Wait here." Now the emperor would never miss a chance to buy unusual clothes, so before long the two strangers were standing in front of a great man and his ministers, all eager to see what the two of them had bought. "Your Majesty," said the small round stranger, "my partner and I have invented a cloth which is not only very beautiful, but also magic. We wondered if your Majesty might be interested in such a cloth." "Magic?" said the emperor, pretending not to be interested. "What magic?" Of course, your Majesty will be able to see our magical cloth, but anyone who is stupid or not fit for the job, well, they will see nothing. To stupid people, our cloth will be invisible." The emperor sat up very straight. "This is brilliant," he thought. "Here's a chance to find out which of my people are fit for their jobs and which of them are fools." "All right," he said. "Make me some of your magic cloth. Make it now." "It's not cheap," said the tall stranger. "It'll cost—" "It doesn't matter what it costs," said the emperor. "Whatever you ask, I will pay." The strangers were given 2 bags of gold coins and a room where they could set up their huge wooden looms. Then they locked the door and started to work. The emperor listened at the door and smiled excitedly. "Good," he said. "They've made a start." But what the emperor didn't know was that these two strangers were cheats who had come to trick him. They were just pretending to work. They kept their looms moving, but no silk thread was used and not a stitch of cloth was made. The strangers looked at their empty looms and then at their 2 bags of gold, and they laughed. "Enjoying their work," said the emperor. "That's a good sign." For 2 days and 2 nights the emperor listened as the strangers worked on and on. On the 3rd day he sent his chief minister to see what they were getting on with. The chief minister knocked at the door. "Excuse me," he said. "May I come in?" The door opened. "Of course," said the tall stranger. "Come and see the magic cloth. I think you'll be quite surprised." Well, the chief minister was surprised. Actually, the chief minister was horrified, because what he saw hanging on the looms was, well, nothing. He put on his glasses, He put his face right up to the loom, but he couldn't see anything, not a single thread of cloth. Oh no, he thought. That means that I'm a fool and I'm not fit to do my job. No one must know. Oh, I've got to pretend to see the cloth. So what do you think? Said the short, round stranger. I think it's beautiful, said the chief minister. Do you like the colours? Said the tall, thin stranger. The colours? Oh yes, said the chief minister. Magnificent. The emperor is going to love these colours. Then tell him he's going to need to pay us more money, said the short, round stranger. Magic thread is very expensive. Tell him we need 2 more bags of gold if we're going to make enough for a suit of clothes. Certainly, said the chief minister, and he scurried back off to the emperor. The emperor was very excited when he heard about the magnificent cloth, and he told a servant to take the strangers 2 more bags of gold. Put the money on the table, said the tall stranger, pretending to work his loom. The servant did as he was told, and then he took a look at the magic cloth, and he saw nothing. Lovely, isn't it? Said the short, round stranger, without looking up from his work. Now the servant didn't want the whole world to think he was a fool and someone who was unfit for his job, so he said, Oh yes, the most beautiful cloth I've ever seen. As he left the room and walked back to the emperor's chamber, the servant heard the chink of gold coins and the unmistakable sound of laughter. News of the beautiful cloth quickly spread. The emperor could wait no longer, and he demanded to see the cloth for himself. So, with all his ministers and servants following behind him, the emperor went to the stranger's room. On the door. The emperor looked at the looms. He stared at the cloth, and he saw nothing. He rubbed his eyes. He looked again. Still nothing. His heart was beating. The colour had drained from his face. The cloth was invisible. Oh, this is a disaster, he thought. Everyone will think I'm a fool and I'm not fit to be an emperor. I'm finished. I'm going to have to resign. I'm going to have to give up my empire and admit that I'm not up to the job. And then he thought, no, I'm not going to allow this to happen. I'm the emperor and I'm going to carry on being the emperor. And so he said, magnificent. This is the most beautiful cloth I've ever seen. And of course, his ministers and servants all agreed. None of them could really see any cloth either, but nobody wanted to be thought of as a fool, so they all said, magnificent, beautiful, quite brilliant, amazing. And then someone started to clap, and others joined in, and soon the whole court was cheering, and the 2 strangers smiled and bowed very low, like actors on a stage. When the cheering died down, the emperor asked the 2 strangers if they could make him a suit of clothes made from the magic cloth. The tall stranger stroked his long chin and said, Your Majesty, a suit of clothes. That will cost you more than 2 bags of gold. Of course, whatever, pay them, ordered the emperor. So the money was paid and the 2 cheats set to work. Now, different sounds came from the stranger's room. Peering through the keyhole, the emperor could see scissors cutting invisible cloth, needles stitching with invisible thread. He longed to see the beautiful new clothes, but the emperor knew now that they would always remain invisible to him, because he was a fool. The cheating strangers worked through the night, and in the morning they told the emperor that his new clothes were ready. The emperor was very excited, and he announced that he would wear his new clothes that very morning and walk through the city so that his people could admire his latest outfit. So the emperor got undressed, and the strangers helped him on with his new clothes. First, they squeezed him into a pair of invisible trousers. Trousers aren't too tight, Your Majesty? They asked. No, said the emperor. Oh, very comfortable, very comfortable indeed. The strangers fastened invisible buttons and buckles. They eased the emperor into an invisible shirt and coat, and they placed an invisible hat on his head. Finally, as they tied the invisible laces on his invisible shoes, they said, So how do you feel, Your Majesty? Oh, very light, said the Emperor. I mean, it almost feels like I'm not wearing anything at all. Now, fetch me a pair of gloves. I don't want my hands to get cold. Certainly, said the small round stranger. What colour gloves shall I fetch? Oh, I don't know, said the Emperor. What do you think would go best with this magnificent cloth? Purple, I think, Your Majesty, said the tall, thin stranger. Yes, that's what I think too, said the Emperor. Fetch me some purple gloves, and then I'll be ready. The city streets were full. A great crowd had come to see the Emperor's new clothes. Everyone was excited, but they were also a bit scared. Everyone was thinking the same thought. What if I can't see the clothes? What if it turns out that I'm a fool? The Emperor led the procession out of the palace and into the streets. He walked very slowly with his head in the air and a proud smile on his face. And although people could see no clothes, they clapped and they praised the wonderful colours and the beautiful design. Oh dear, thought the Emperor. All my people can see the clothes. I must be the only fool in the city. And then a little boy pointed at the Emperor and said, He's got nothing on. Everything went quiet. The people looked at the little boy. The people looked at the Emperor. Don't be silly, said the boy's father. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. My son doesn't know what he's saying. He's just a silly boy. Your clothes are beautiful. No, he's not, said the boy's father. Yes, he is. Sorry, but he hasn't got on any clothes, said the little boy. He's all bare. No, he's not, said the boy's father. Yes, he is, said the little boy. He's all bare and I can see. Quiet, said his father. And now people started whispering amongst themselves. The boy's right, they said. The Emperor's got nothing on. The whispering spread, and then the people started pointing and laughing. He's all bare. He's got nothing on. Poor fools, thought the Emperor. Of course they can't see my clothes. It just proves it. They're all fools. And slowly, proudly, he walked on through the city gates, dressed in nothing but a pair of purple gloves. Right, so that took a bit longer than normal, but I asked you at the beginning, who was brave in that story? Was it the Emperor? Was it the tricksters? Was it the people who worked for the Emperor? Was it the people in the street? Was it the little boy? I'll let you decide. See you tomorrow. Bye.